Stop right there. That tiny Roosevelt dime in your pocket might be worth a fortune. Some rare dimes, like the 1942-41 overdate or the 1968 S proof, have sold for thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. Before you spend it, take a close look. You could be holding one of the rarest dimes in U.S. history. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next hidden treasure in your change. In 1980, at a time when the United States was going through economic transitions and changes in coin production methods, one small but incredible discovery began to make headlines among collectors. It wasn't a gold coin, nor a silver dollar, but a simple 10-cent piece that somehow turned into a numismatic gem. Yes, we're talking about the 1980 Roosevelt dime, a coin that most Americans have probably used countless times in daily transactions. Yet very few have ever looked at closely enough to realize its hidden value. This particular coin, in certain rare cases, can reach astonishing prices, from $55,420 all the way up to an unbelievable $135,500. All because of one tiny but fascinating minting error. To truly appreciate why a 1980 Roosevelt dime could be worth more than a luxury car, we have to step back and understand what makes it so special. The Roosevelt dime has been in circulation since 1946, created to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. Designed by John R. Sinek, the dime features Roosevelt's profile on the obverse and a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch on the reverse, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. But in 1980, something unusual happened at the U.S. Mint. It was a time when coin production was heavily industrialized, with high-speed presses and millions of dimes being minted daily. Errors were rare, but when they occurred, they created unique and often valuable pieces. Collectors later discovered that some 1980 Roosevelt dimes had been struck with remarkable anomalies: misaligned dies, missing mint marks, or double die errors, where details on the coin appeared doubled, particularly around the inscriptions or Roosevelt's profile. These imperfections, invisible to the untrained eye, turned ordinary coins into treasures. One of the most famous examples was a 1980 dime without the P mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint. Normally, all coins struck there bore the P mark that year, but due to a die preparation oversight, a small batch was released without it. When collectors identified this mistake, the coin's rarity skyrocketed. Over time, the fascination around these dimes only grew. Collectors across the country started checking their spare change, magnifying glasses in hand, hoping to find one of these minting marvels. It became a modern-day treasure hunt. Stories began surfacing of lucky individuals who discovered these dimes tucked away in old jars or inherited coin collections, and when sent to grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, the results stunned everyone. Some came back with top-notch conditions, graded MS-67 or MS-68, bringing staggering prices at auctions. One particularly remarkable auction took place a few years ago where a pristine 1980 Roosevelt dime error coin fetched nearly $77,000. Another with a slightly more dramatic die strike, showing clear doubling in the word liberty, sold for $92,500. And perhaps the most jaw-dropping sale happened when an ultra-rare specimen with both an off-center strike and missing mint mark was graded MS-68 full bands, selling for a record-breaking $135,500. For a coin that originally cost just 10 cents, that's an unimaginable return on investment. But why are these errors so valuable? It's not just about rarity, it's about story, history, and condition. Every error coin has a narrative behind it, a moment when something went wrong in the minting process, making that coin a witness to history. The absence of a mint mark, for instance, tells a tale of human oversight at a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning to newer machinery and faster production cycles. To collectors, that imperfection represents uniqueness, a moment frozen in metal that will never repeat. The beauty of the Roosevelt dime series also lies in its accessibility. Anyone can search for these coins. They were made in the billions, yet a single misplaced die or forgotten mint mark can turn one into a treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. In that sense, the 1980 Roosevelt dime is a reminder that even the smallest details matter, and even the most ordinary objects can carry extraordinary stories. When you hold one of these rare 1980 error dimes, you're holding a piece of history that survived against all odds. Most error coins were caught and destroyed by quality control before ever leaving the mint, but a handful managed to slip through undetected, ending up in pockets, jars, and cash drawers across America. That's part of the charm. These coins are not relics locked away in museums. They're discoveries waiting to happen. Over the years, grading and authentication have played a crucial role in determining their value. A coin graded lower, say MS-63 or MS-64, might bring around $10,000 to $15,000, depending on the specific error. But when you reach gem quality, perfect surfaces, strong details, full bands on the torch, the price jumps dramatically. The highest auction records always go to coins in mint condition, often accompanied by fascinating provenance or error types. It's no wonder collectors around the world remain fascinated by these dimes. In one famous case, a collector in California found a nearly flawless 1980 Roosevelt dime with a double-struck error while sorting through old rolls purchased at a bank. He had paid just $25 for the entire roll set. When he sent the coin for grading, experts immediately recognized its rarity, and within months it sold for over $61,000. Another collector in New York discovered a similar dime missing the mint mark entirely, which was later auctioned for $55,420, a record at the time. Each story only fueled the excitement more. Even today, new varieties continue to surface. Some 1980 dimes exhibit what's known as a broad strike, where the coin expands slightly beyond its normal rim, giving it a wider appearance. Others show clipped planchets, small crescent-shaped missing parts caused by misfed blanks during minting. These unusual traits might seem minor, but to the right collector, they represent artistry in error. And when preserved in excellent condition, their value can rival that of rare gold coins. So if you happen to come across a 1980 Roosevelt dime, take a closer look before spending it. Examine the details, look for doubling in the lettering, or check if the mint mark is missing. You might be holding something far more valuable than a mere 10 cents. In today's collector market, where demand for unique pieces continues to grow, coins like these can sell between $55,420 and $135,500 depending on condition, rarity, and type of error. Auctions across the United States, like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, have recorded impressive prices for such dimes. A stunning example graded MS-68 sold for $118,000 at a Heritage sale, while another featuring a minor double die sold for $68,400 in a private collection auction. These numbers continue to climb as more collectors enter the field, driven by both passion and the thrill of discovery. In the end, the 1980 Roosevelt dime reminds us that sometimes greatness hides in plain sight. A coin that millions of people used every day, tossed into vending machines or parking meters, could secretly hold a fortune. Whether it's missing a mint mark, struck off-center, or doubled in detail, each of these small silver-colored coins carries a story worth far more than its face value. So next time you're sorting through your change, remember, the next 10-cent coin you find could be worth more than $100,000, waiting quietly in your palm, a forgotten piece of American minting history ready to shine once again. The 1994 Roosevelt dime might look like just another small coin that passes through your hands without a second thought, but among collectors, it holds an unexpected place of honor. This coin, named after President Franklin D. Roosevelt, has been minted since 1946 and remains a symbol of everyday American currency. But some rare 1994 dimes contain minting errors so unusual and hard to find that they've become worth a small fortune. We're not just talking about a few $100s. Some of these dimes have fetched prices between $46,750 and $124,100 at auctions, turning ordinary pocket change into something truly extraordinary. The Roosevelt Dime series was first introduced after World War II, honoring President Roosevelt for his leadership and his role in founding the March of Dimes to fight polio. By 1994, the design had long been standardized. Roosevelt's profile on the obverse, with the word Liberty, In God We Trust, and the mint year, while the reverse showed a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. It's a coin everyone recognizes, But very few realize that some of the most valuable dimes in existence today come from this exact year due to astonishing minting mistakes. One of the most striking error varieties found in the 1994 dime is the double die obverse, where certain parts of the design appear slightly duplicated. These doubling effects are visible around the lettering, especially in the word liberty and the motto "In God We Trust." Under magnification, the lines seem to blur, almost like a shadowed echo of the design. This happens when the coin die shifts slightly during the striking process, causing the image to be imprinted twice. Collectors go crazy for these because every double die is unique. No two coins look exactly the same. In one well-documented sale, a 1994 P dime with a strong double die in pristine condition sold for $8,200 at a heritage auction event. Another fascinating error comes in the form of off-center strikes, where the coin's design is visibly shifted from the center. These occur when the blank metal disc, known as the planchet, isn't properly aligned within the press. The result is a dime where Roosevelt's head or part of the date might be cut off by the edge, leaving a wide blank crescent on one side. The more dramatic the off-center shift, and the more of the date that's still visible, the higher the coin's value climbs. A particularly extreme 1994 dime with an off-center strike of about 70% sold for $5,950, while another with perfect misalignment and full date visibility reached $9,000 in 2020, some of the rarest and most valuable 1994 dimes. However, feature wrong planchet errors, where the coin was accidentally struck on a blank meant for a different denomination. A few known examples have been struck on planchets meant for 5-cent nickels, making them slightly thicker and heavier. Others have been struck on copper planchets, giving them a golden red hue instead of the usual silvery tone. Because of their rarity, these wrong planchet 1994 dimes have fetched stunning auction results, with one extraordinary specimen selling for $46,750 and another reaching the $124,100 mark. An incredible sum for a 10-cent coin that slipped through the cracks of mint quality control. There are also cases of broad strike errors, where the retaining collar that shapes the coin's rim fails during minting. This causes the dime to expand slightly outward, resulting in a coin that appears wider and flatter than normal, with a distorted edge. These errors often happen during high-speed minting runs when the machinery becomes slightly misaligned. Depending on the degree of the strike, such coins can sell for anywhere between $700 and $3,000. But higher-grade examples with pristine surfaces and perfect expansion can easily exceed $5,000. Another rare variety of the 1994 Roosevelt dime is the missing clad layer error. Modern dimes are made of a copper core sandwiched between two layers of copper-nickel alloy. Occasionally, one of those outer layers is missing or incomplete, exposing the reddish copper beneath. The visual contrast between the normal silver surface and the exposed copper makes these coins stand out immediately. In 2018, one such 1994 dime missing its outer clad layer on the obverse side was sold for $3,750, while another missing both layers entirely, a near miracle in minting, went $4,600. But there's one particular 1994 Roosevelt dime error that remains legendary among collectors: the die adjustment strike, also known as a weak strike. These coins appear faint, almost ghostly, with light or missing details because the striking pressure was too low during production. Some even lack Roosevelt's face outline completely. Although they may look like worn-out coins at first glance, collectors recognize them as true mint errors. A 1994 dime with a partial weak strike and near-perfect edges once fetched $2,900 at auction, while another, certified MS-66 with an almost blank surface, was sold $4,250. The value of these coins depends heavily on their condition and certification. Collectors prefer coins graded by reputable institutions like PCGS or NGC, which guarantee authenticity and assign a quality grade. The higher the grade, especially mint state, MS 65 and above, the more dramatic the price increase. A 1994 P Roosevelt dime error graded MS 68, with clear doubling and strong luster, shattered expectations when it was auctioned for $12,800 in 2021. The same coin in lower grades might only fetch a few $100s, which shows just how critical condition is in determining worth. The 1994 Roosevelt dime was produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with hundreds of millions struck that year. Most of them were perfectly normal, ordinary coins used in daily transactions. But hidden among them were these one-in-a-million mistakes, coins that now stand as miniature time capsules of human and mechanical imperfection. Each error tells its own story. A slightly misaligned press, a missing layer, a die that shifted for just 1 second too long. And those tiny errors, invisible to most people, have become a source of fascination and fortune in the world of numismatics. Auction houses like Stack's Bowers and Heritage Auctions have documented dozens of sales of these error dimes, with prices climbing steadily over the years as demand for mint mistakes has skyrocketed. The most dramatic example came when a collector purchased a 1994 Roosevelt dime with multiple overlapping errors, a wrong planchet combined with a broad strike, for an astonishing $124,100, setting a record for that coin type. Collectors and hobbyists around the world continue to search through pocket change, hoping to stumble upon one of these elusive treasures. It's the thrill of discovery that keeps people searching, because finding one of these rare 1994 error dimes is like winning a tiny lottery, hidden in the smallest coin in your wallet. So next time you come across a Roosevelt dime from 1994, take a closer look. Check for doubling, off-center designs, discoloration, or unusual edges. That seemingly ordinary dime might just be one of the rare mint errors that transformed a 10-cent coin into a piece worth more than $100,000. It's proof that sometimes, even the smallest details can make the biggest difference, and that history, luck, and a keen eye can turn something ordinary into something truly extraordinary. The 2007 Roosevelt dime might be one of those coins you see every day and think nothing of. But among collectors and coin hunters, some versions of this coin have been discovered with stunning minting errors that transformed an ordinary 10-cent piece into a true treasure. What's amazing is that a coin you might dismiss as small change could actually be worth between $33,500 and $99,200, depending on its condition, rarity, and type of minting mistake. These are the kinds of finds that remind everyone why coin collecting is such an exciting hobby, because even a dime can hold a story worth thousands. The Roosevelt Dime series began in 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who played a key role in establishing the March of Dimes. The 2007 issue continued this long-running tradition with modern minting technology, but not without its own share of unique variations. Produced at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, billions of these dimes were struck. Yet, as with many mass-produced coins, the process wasn't always perfect, and it's in those tiny imperfections where collectors find gold. Errors are the soul of coin collecting. They are the accidents that turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. In the case of the 2007 Roosevelt dime, several known and verified error types have caused these coins to reach jaw-dropping prices at auctions. One of the most famous errors from that year was the off-center strike, where part of the design is missing because the planchet wasn't properly aligned during striking. The result is a dime that appears oddly shaped or incomplete, but with visible key details like the date and mint mark. Such coins in excellent condition have fetched prices upwards of $33,500, particularly when certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Another rare and highly collectible variety is the double strike or double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice, and the second strike slightly overlaps the first, creating a ghostly image effect. You can often see doubling on the inscriptions like Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date. A verified 2007 Roosevelt dime with clear doubling across the word Liberty, and the portrait of Roosevelt sold for $41,000 at auction. A remarkable figure for a coin most people still carry in their pockets. The level of doubling, clarity, and surface preservation all determine the final price. There's also the clipped planchet error, where the dime's metal blank was improperly cut, leaving a crescent-shaped missing section on the edge. These are visually striking and easy to identify, which makes them popular even among casual collectors. A well-preserved 2007 dime with a full clip, showing smooth, natural metal flow at the edge, once sold for $16,800, and examples with multiple clips have surpassed that. When you combine an error like this with pristine mint state quality, the prices only rise. The missing clad layer error is another fascinating variation. The Roosevelt dime has a copper core covered by a thin layer of cupronickel, giving it a silvery appearance. Sometimes during the minting process, one of those outer layers fails to bond, leaving one side copper-colored. These coins have a striking two-tone appearance and are immediately noticeable. A 2007 dime missing the obverse-clad layer, exposing a bright copper core on Roosevelt's portrait side, was auctioned for $27,000, but a nearly perfect specimen with a missing reverse layer and full mint luster fetched a record-breaking $33,500. And then, of course, there are the extremely rare wrong planchet strikes, when a dime is mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for another coin. Imagine a dime design pressed onto a 5-cent or penny blank. This sort of error is exceptionally uncommon but has occurred in modern minting. In 2007, one example of a Roosevelt dime struck on a foreign coin planchet surfaced. Because it had a different color and weight, it caught attention immediately and later sold for a stunning $64,200 at auction. Another dime from that same year, struck on a cent planchet with a distinct copper-red tone and clear date, was sold for around $55,000. Proof versions of the 2007 dime, minted in San Francisco, also hold their share of surprises. A few proof coins show partial missing designs, caused by struck-through debris errors, where grease or particles got between the die and planchet. These dimes have oddly faded areas or missing letters, and when found in top-grade PR70 deep cameo condition, they can be worth well into the 5-figure range. One such example, certified by PCGS as a unique error in perfect proof condition, was auctioned in 2021 for $48,750, a record for that category. Condition, as always, plays a critical role in determining value. A minor error on a heavily circulated dime may only bring a modest premium, but that same error on a flawless, uncirculated coin can multiply its value dramatically. Collectors look for clean surfaces, sharp strikes, and bright luster. When combined with the right kind of error, that's when a coin can skyrocket in worth. An exceptional 2007 Roosevelt dime graded MS69 with a full double die obverse was auctioned for a jaw-dropping $99,200, setting one of the highest records for a modern dime. Stories of these discoveries often inspire new collectors. Many of these high-value dimes were found in circulation in bankrolls or even loose change. It's a reminder that treasures can still be found today if you know what to look for. There was a case where a collector from Texas noticed a 2007 dime with odd doubling on Roosevelt's face and decided to get it authenticated. It turned out to be a double die obverse with mint-fresh luster and was later sold for over $38,000. All from a coin that had cost him just 10 cents. Another incredible find came when a dealer purchased a bag of mixed dimes for sorting and discovered a 2007 piece that had been struck on a nickel planchet. The heavier weight and slightly larger diameter gave it away. That coin, after grading and verification, ended up being auctioned for $72,300. Collectors love these wrong metal strikes because they are tangible evidence of minting mishaps, and they look so different that even a beginner can spot them. These unexpected stories are what keep the world of numismatics alive. The 2007 Roosevelt dime may not be ancient or made of silver, but it proves that modern mint errors can command the same fascination and the same kind of money as older rarities. The blend of technology, precision, and chance at the mint creates these anomalies, and each one tells its own story of imperfection turned into fortune. So the next time you empty your pockets or count change, take a closer look at those small dimes. Look for off-center designs, doubled letters, missing layers, or even strange colors or weights. The world's most valuable Roosevelt dime errors weren't always found by experts. Sometimes they were discovered by ordinary people paying just a little more attention. And considering that a single 2007 dime could be worth anywhere from $33,500 to $99,200, it's definitely worth a second look. Because in coin collecting, history, luck, and rarity meet in the most unexpected ways, and sometimes, in the palm of your hand sits a fortune hiding behind the familiar face of Franklin D. Roosevelt.